Good morning, everyone. Many thanks to Professor Xiangning and, of course, Michael for the invitation to attend this forum. It's a great honor to speak about our practical architectural practice in such a symposium so rich in theoretical discourse. I suppose my task here is simply to offer a sample of practice, and I look forward to receiving your comments or any feedback. As a lecture title shows, Re-cultivating Industrial Fragments. The word fragments may already imply a connection to the conference theme. I will discuss two transformation projects on former industrial sites. One is a coal wharf and a water intake facility, to explore how fragments of abandoned infrastructure, its meaning, might be preserved, suspended, or reinterpreted in the context of today's urban renewal. The first project is located along the Huangpu River in Shanghai. The second is in Keqiao, a historic water town in Shaoxing, about a 3-hour drive southwest of Shanghai. Around 2010, during the Shanghai World Expo, many industrial facilities were relocated out of the city center of Shanghai, especially along the Huangpu River. Shipyards, industrial wharfs, and warehouses were gradually dismantled, preparing Shanghai for an era of urban regeneration. This process marked China's transition into a post-industrial city and then radiating influence beyond Shanghai. Since 2010, Atelier Deshaus has worked on projects such as the Long Museum West Bund, the Modern Art Museum of Shanghai, and the 80,000-ton Silo Art Center, etc., all examples of post-industrial urban renewal. The photo on the left shows the west bund of Huangpu River in 2008, where the riverfront was still full of warehouses and docks. In the distance, China Pavilion of the expo was under construction. The 2016 photo on the right up shows the same site reimagined as public urban space, surrounded by new high-rises, really a quite fast speed of constructioning. This is the Riverside Passage. Of its Chinese name is Bianyuan. It's a small landscape intervention along the Huangpu River in Yangpu district. It is located in northeastern Shanghai, not so far from here. The site was formerly a high-pile coal wharf built in 1973 to supply coal to the Yangshupu Gas Plant. Two 9-meter-long, 4-meter-high concrete walls once stood on the wharf to prevent coal from falling into the river. One wall, located closer to the river, was demolished in 2001 after the plant ceased operation in 1999. The broken pieces was dumped in the void between the elevated wharf and the flood wall. Satellite images from different years shows the changes. In 2000, both walls were intact. By 2004, the riverside wall was gone. By 2010, the wharf was still in use, but no longer for coal uploading. It was retired in 2011, just a year after the expo. On my first site visit, 2018, I was struck by the lingering presence of the remaining wall. With wild grasses drawing water and nutrients from the river through the rubble, these fragments, plants, and water together formed a new landscape. ecological, ordinary, and quietly powerful. During the broader development of the Huangpu River shoreline, also there has been growing interest in preserving industrial heritage. The focus typically lies on those assessed as having historical or economic value. Mainly buildings was typological significance. Ordinary infrastructural elements are more likely to be demolished, especially when it comes to modifying the ground and the vegetation. The prevailing expectation is still to see a completely new waterfront. The initial intention of the Riverside Passage design was first and foremost to avoid demolishing old elements whenever possible. This was not only to reduce carbon emissions, but also because even the most mundane remains, if carefully understood, could become meaningful parts of the renewed spatial narrative. Their age value, a term coined by Aloïs Riegl, can be transformed into something quietly present in everyday life, a kind of gentle, unintentional emotional comfort. This diagram shows the condition of the wharf in 2011. The purple line indicates the position and scale of the remaining wall on the wharf. This is the diagram. You can see that we made a small cut in the remaining wall. These cuts allowed us to attach a lightweight steel structure and add a row of openings that connect both sides of the wall. The new structures shown in blue lines merge with the old elements marked in red to form a new whole. As shown in the diagram, this new structure introduced new use to the old wharf, making the space revolve around the remaining wall rather than being split by it. As it once was from another perspective, we might say that the traditional spatial logic of Chinese gardens, defined by inward-looking paths enclosed by walls, has here been compressed and transformed into an outward-facing spatial strategy. It is a public approach to space enabled by a wild, weathered wall. On the original ground of the wharf, we polished the section of the shape of a sports court to subtly suggest uses such as roller skating. This section drawings shows how minimal our intervention was on the wharf. Both demolition and new construction were kept to be a rare minimum. This approach requires to first identify the site's specific characteristics and latent potentials, which in turn help to reduce carbon emissions across multiple aspects. In the end, the entire 5,000 square meter public space was completed with only a budget of just 1.78 million RMB. This photo gives a direct view of how the new structure is attached to the old one. We see slender steel columns, an inward sloping roof, a tall corridor, and a polished ground. Together, they make this place at once a pavilion, a balcony, and a passage, a place for the air to linger or drift through at will. Behind the wall lies a secret ruin garden. In the distance, the smokestack of the former power plant serves a backdrop to the landscape. On on the other side of this narrow gap stands a shorter wall, the Huangpu River flood wall, which in fact also forms part of the structural composition of the architecture of Bianyuan. When studying the structural feasibility of the single-pitched roof and its cantilevered dips, we discovered that the nearby flood wall plays a subtle structural role across the void, helping to stabilize the roof against the wind forces, making it more than just a spatial enclosure. While this structural interplay between the cantilevered steel roof and the adjacent wall may be perceptible only on an intellectual level, I firmly believe that the body's subconscious can often sense deeper, hidden relationships. This is a bird view of Bianyuan, where you can clearly see the polished surface shaped like a sports court. The sloping roof creates a connection between the two sides of the wall. The outer side offers a more expansive sense of openness and serves as a place for more public activities. The inner side, by contrast, invokes a spatial quality more akin to that of a traditional Chinese garden. Yet it is a ruined garden, deeply rooted in the industrial history of the metropolis. The broken remnants were deliberately preserved and made legible in the garden. The long concrete wall still standing offers, though its weathered surface shapes by time, a strong sense of atmosphere, and also a German word Stimmung. The scattered fragments of the demolished wall left by the riverside and shaped by the tides invoke an uncanny cultural connection to the Taihu rocks, those famous scholar stones of Suzhou. This atmosphere led me to recall Walter Benjamin's notion of aura. Though I'm unsure, is it the cultural association that produces aura, or is it the aura that gives rise to cultural association? Perhaps I misapply the term here. They are still merely fragments, yet fragments that include not only the shattered pieces, but also the standing wall and the wharf itself, which together still form a kind of whole, a scape of ruins. This is another transformation project of a former intake facility in a historic water town. In fact, it is not just the buildings, but the entire island. Once closed to the public, it has been transformed into a shared public space. This is a typical Jiangnan water town landscape, characterized by its terrain and architectural fabric. The small island in Jianhu Lake was once sealed off as a municipal facility, serving as the water intake point for the Keqiao Town Waterworks. The intake facility in the island was built in 1992 and originally consists of 6 structures. One is a pump house, substation, and office administration office building, a dormitory, an intake dock, and a cargo loading dock. After a larger regional water plant was constructed in 2001, the site was abandoned until it was revitalized in a rural renewal project in 2022. The structures have since been transformed into a bookstore, a cafe, exhibition hall, and a viewing pavilion. The pavilion at the intake point now also serves as a boat dock. The entire island has been converted into a public park. These were the original buildings and structures on the island. They are representative of the ceramic tile architecture that was widely built across China in 1980s and 1990s, often featuring symbolic gables influenced by the postmodern style design. In recent years, many such buildings clad in white strip tiles has been undergone facade renovations during urban renewal campaigns, replacing their surface with materials that deemed more fashionable. These tiles once represented a practical choice for their perceived collaborability and easy for maintenance, enabling workers to quickly and uniformly finish building exteriors. In fact, many vernacular rural buildings originally constructed from rammed earth were also refaced with ceramic tiles during the chemical material era in an attempt to modernize their appearance, resist erosion, and symbolize progress beyond tradition. Admittedly, I used to regard this tile building as an unsightly or even distasteful. But today, it is possible to find in them a kind of sincerity and a logic that slowly reveals itself over time. So during the site visit, I made a conscious decision that this tiled surface could take a new meaning within the reimagined architecture. And then even the symbolic gables might be reborn as structural elements. The substation was partially dismantled and partially preserved. During the process of demolition and surface stripping, I suddenly realized that the materiality and the temporality of the ceramic tiles and of the building itself differently from the condition at Bianyuan. Tiles are by nature resistant to the passage of time, yet their joints shift subtly and the tiles gradually peel away from their substrate. It is this very peeling that introduces a sense of temporality, allowing different layers of time to coexist on a single surface. Through acts of bricolage and adaptive reuses, a new materiality may begin to emerge from the old fragments. This diagram shows the original layout of the intake facility. The areas marked in green indicates the parts designated for demolish. This diagram shows the structural layout after the partial demolition of walls and roofs because of the code of the earthquake structural code. The blue lines indicate the new structural additions and the roof covering attached to the original structures, which are shown in red. This color-coded diagram illustrates the merged state of the new and original structures. Naturally, this project is not only about architectural renewal, but about how a former industrial island can, with minimal intervention, be reshaped into a space more attuned to local everyday life and landscape culture while retaining its historical traces. These slender steel colonnades, much like those in Bianyuan project, serve as a bridge rooted in industrial rhetoric, yet resonating with the spatial language of tradition, and mediating and harmonizing a presence. These slender steel columns and the long ceramic tiles, though different in form, echo the same industrial memory. Together, they embody a cultural time that still feels close and relevant. Some parts of the old tile facade were patched with new silver tiles, while some parts were stripped of their original cladding to deconstruct or dissolve their symbol surface forms. A strongly symbolic eave profile hinting at a pitched roof was preserved from the old building's parapet. It now stands as a visible fragment, seemingly engaged in a secret conversation with the new steel roof nearby. The hosting frame of the cargo pier was transformed into a waterfront cafe pavilion. The pavilion sits across the water, facing the traditional riverfront dwellings. The substation was capped with a tent-like steel roof, just like Xingang's last project, that rests on a horizontal corridor, forming a continuous and a fluid spatial system. This structure connects several different buildings in the island and encloses a small courtyard, creating space for reading, gathering, and social interaction. The roof of the curve to consist with suggests some the relationship between the traditional architecture and now, but totally different tectonics. But the shape of the building just gave a good relationship with the woods, the forest. The new roofs lands precisely at the pointed tip of the symbolic gable of the former substation. A second floor corridor extends from here, leading to the upper level bookstore space in the pump house at the rear. This is the original interior of the pump house, where the old pumps have been preserved in the sunken area, meaning with the new books shelves of the bookstore. The corridor serves as an extension of the bookstore, while also becoming an integral part of the island park's spatial experience. The pavilion at the intake point was built upon the original water facilities structural framework, including the bridge that connects the island. The original steel pipes now serves as structural supports for the bridge. Today, this sport functions as a pier where visitors can go up from boats to cross this island, looking toward the riverside dwelling of the water town from the viewing pavilion on the pier. This former municipal water intake island on Jianhu Lake now seems to have acquired a sense of historicity. The Chinese title of this talk, I just translated, use a phrase 片语极光. 片语极光, which refers fragments of something rare and precious, like a single a feature from a mythical creature. The 片语 means a piece of leather, feather. 极光 is the name of a mythical horse. So 极光 is also named a light, yeah, a lucky light. I use this in Chinese. This phrase is often used to describe cherished fragments of Asian cultural relics. I choose this term to express the idea that even the smallest remnants of industrial structures may carry cultural significance worth preserving and recultivating. But in the end, I also have a video. Still have time to show you? Okay.